Stravinsky, the Rite of Spring. What Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was to the 19th century, so Igor Stravinsky's The Rite of Spring was to the 20th. The single most influential piece of music composed in its time, the game changer, the one work of its century that no later composer could avoid. The Rite, composed in 1912 and premiered in Paris in 1913, was new and different, and it inspired people to say some pretty crazy things. For example, the following poem appeared in the Boston Herald on February 9, 1924, following a performance of the Rite in that city. Who wrote this fiendish Rite of Spring? What right had he to write this thing, against our helpless ears to fling its crash, clash, cling, clang, bing, bang, bing? And then to call it Rite of Spring, the season when on joyous wing the birds harmonious carols sing, and harmonies in everything. He who could write the Rite of Spring, if I be right, by right should swing. What the good people of Boston heard in 1924 was a concert performance of the Rite of Spring, which is how we will hear the Rite performed today. However, it was conceived as a ballet. In composing its music, Stravinsky followed a scenario, a storyline that describes various tribal rituals presumably practiced by Bronze Age Russians, culminating in human sacrifice. The premiere of the ballet, which was choreographed by the Russian dancer Vaslav Nijinsky and conducted by Pierre Monteux, took place in Paris on May 29, 1913. That balletic premiere provoked a riot, which we will discuss in due time. Not quite 11 months later, on April 5, 1914, Monteux conducted the Rite of Spring as a concert work, no dancers, just music, for the first time. This Parisian performance of the Rite was as great a success as the balletic premiere had been a scandal. The critic Émile Vuillermoz wrote, quote, "At the last chord, delirium takes hold of those present. A fever of adoration sweeps through the audience. They yell the name of the composer and rush to look for him. An unprecedented exaltation reigns through the hall. The applause goes on to the point of vertigo," unquote. Contemporary critics had a hard time trying to figure out why the Rite so quickly succeeded as a concert work with its crash, clash, cling, clang, bing, bang, bing, without the context provided by its balletic scenario. The English music critic Ernest Newman put it this way in a piece that appeared in the Sunday Times, quote, "The latest catchword of the partisans is that the Rite is abstract music. We do not take that too seriously, however. We know how dependent Stravinsky's music has hitherto been upon the balletic action it was designed to accompany," unquote. Tell you the truth, it was Stravinsky himself who was behind the campaign to disassociate the Rite of Spring from its roots as a ballet in favor of an abstractly conceived concert work. Stravinsky's attempt to downplay the collaboration that created the Rite of Spring, and thus take full credit for its creation, is understandable if disreputable. As a composer of great genius and no small bit of ego, he didn't want his musical creation to have to share the spotlight with an ethnographer, that would be Nicholas Roerich, who wrote the scenario, or, for that matter, the choreographer, Vaslav Nijinsky, whom Stravinsky considered an imbecile and whose choreography Stravinsky blamed for the opening night riot. Stravinsky believed, and time has proven him correct, that the music of the Rite of Spring was strong enough to stand by itself without reference to the scenario that inspired it. But the scenario did inspire the Rite. Stravinsky would not have been able to conceptualize or compose the music that he did had it not been for the scenario. The scenario. Stravinsky created the scenario for the Rite of Spring in collaboration with the painter, folklorist, and spiritual teacher Nicholas Roerich, who lived from 1874 to 1947. Rorik was considered an authority on the ancient Slavs, and it was in this capacity that he helped create the scenario for the Rite. The Rite of Spring is set in two large parts. Part 1, entitled The Adoration of the Earth, consists of 7 scenes, or tableaux, which depict various fertility rites, contests, and ceremonies. Part 2, entitled The Sacrifice, sees the chosen virgin cut from the herd, glorified, and in the end, danced to death. It is, in the words of musicologist Joseph Kerman, quote, dubious anthropology, but effective theater, unquote. Stravinsky himself said of the Rite and its scenario, quote, the Rite of Spring is unified by a single idea, the mystery and the great surge of creative power of spring, unquote. When we tackle the Rite of Spring in a few minutes, it will be through its balletic scenario, a scenario that inspired Stravinsky to compose some of the most groundbreaking music ever put to paper.